Hi, I'm Kaylee, and today I'm reviewing Olive by Dinah Maria Mulock Craik. I know I'm saying that wrong. I have heard Katie over at Books and Things talk about Olive for years, and she loved it, and she just recommends everybody to read it. And so finally, after it's sitting on my Kindle for years, I finally sat down and read it. And I was really worried because Katie had talked it up so much that I was like, ooh, now my expectations are really high and I hope I'm not disappointed. But I was not disappointed. It was really good. And now I can definitely see why Katie talks about it so much, because there's just so many good things in this novel. And I'll leave a link to her channel down in the description, so be sure to go over and subscribe to her. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up if you love classics the way that I do. So Olive is all about a girl who is born with a deformity in her spine. Her parents are devastated to have a humpback child, but they do try to show Olive compassion, not so much out of love, but more because they feel like it's their duty as parents. Olive's childhood is pretty peaceful, but as Olive grows up, she begins to realize that she will probably never have a normal life. She will probably never be able to marry or have a family. She's uneducated and without resources. Olive must lean on her faith to help her through the difficulties of her life. She finds solace in nature and in art, and in supporting her friends and family with her patient and kind spirit. I just love this story so much. The plot is full of twists and turns and dark secrets from the past. There are a lot of characters whose fates are intertwined in unexpected ways. And it was really interesting to see how people's decisions just changed the course of their life and affected the other characters and took the story in new directions. I really enjoyed the themes of faith and even religious doubt. There's a character who begins to question his religious beliefs, but then he sees Olive's faith in God, and he begins to reconsider and seek the truth about God. This character development is just so inspiring. It's so hopeful. I mean, we all have questions about God, but this book shows if you just keep looking for the truth about God in the Bible, God will answer all our questions and give us faith. Olive's personality is so complex and beautiful. In some ways, she is that typical Victorian angelic heroine. She's good and pure. But in other ways, she does have some darkness inside of her too. She's always struggling internally with her self-esteem and her self-worth. She has a lot of sadness and even depression that comes into her life. And the only thing that brings her peace and a sense of self-worth is her faith in God. Despite the censure of the world and the way that other people try to limit her, she finds that she can lead a useful and a happy life. She has to fight for every inch of happiness, but her weapon in that fight is love. I really liked that she doesn't become bitter, but she is thankful for the good things in her life. She doesn't harden her heart because of her misfortunes. She remains tender and sensitive. She can respond warmly to her friends and her family who love her. And this is in contrast to another character who becomes very bitter and angry when they are faced with misfortune. I think the thing that I love the most about Olive's personality is her intellect. She's very quick to see all the aspects of an argument. She takes into consideration the emotions and the thoughts of other people. So she doesn't just have knowledge, but she's very quick to discern. She's very sensitive to what's going on with other people. She has that emotional intelligence as well. She's really sensitive to beauty in nature. Her skills in sketching and painting are the direct result of her intellectual approach to art. She's serious and thoughtful and wise beyond her years. I just loved the character development for so many different people in this book. Everyone who knows Olive, both from her parents to her family, her friends, they all begin by pitying her. But in the end, they all recognize her worth and they love her for who she really is. I just enjoyed the exploration of all these deep themes about self-worth and what it really means to live a worthwhile life. It's just so interesting to see the way that Olive influences the people around her and how that develops their character. She makes them change their perspective from the external to the internal. One thing that I found really interesting, in the beginning I was kind of confused about what was going on, but then I kind of figured out, the author is doing a little thing there. Sometimes the writing will say this Victorian sexist phrase or something just deeply offensive to the modern ear. Something about how, women are inferior to men in some particular way. But then in the very next scene, we would see an example from one of the characters that is not true. And I just loved how the writing took these common Victorian ideas and proved them wrong. One particular instance was a saying that old people don't feel their emotions as strongly as young people do. And so if an old person is sad, it doesn't really matter. They don't really feel it in the strong way that a young person who is more vital would feel it. And then in the very next scene, we see Olive's old aunt keeping a yearly memorial for someone who has died decades before. Her emotions are still strong. Her sadness is still real, even in her old age. Everyone's emotions deserve respect and consideration. The writing is just very emotional. There are a lot of really heartbreaking scenes, and there's lots of people that die. Seems like everybody's always dying. The writing style is just so powerful, so vivid, that you can really feel those strong emotions of the characters. Even when they're trying to conceal their feelings, it's all kind of bubbling under the surface. I just loved this book. I can't wait to read more from this author. I gave Olive 4.5 stars. Please leave me a comment and tell me about a book where a character really relies on their faith in order to get through the difficulties of the story, right? I just loved that this book focused so much on faith in God. I would love some more recommendations of these really strong faith-based type of stories. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.